Hey, what's going on, y'all? Look, I want to talk to you today about what is Door Life TV. Basically, are you tired of just barely getting by? Do you remember in high school, right? Our parents were always telling us things like, do you just wait till you get in the real world? You'll start to figure out things. You'll start to see how things are like. So when we graduated high school, it was like, okay, man, I'm going out in the real world. I'm going to prove to my dad that he didn't know what he's talking about, and I got this all figured out. And pretty soon as time went on, it was like we started to get into the mundane of the daily grind, that 9 to 5 bills and real life set in. That started to creep into our mentality about, the rich keep getting richer, the poor keep getting poorer, and different mentality like that. And so it's easy to really get caught up, at least it was for me, right, on this idea of what's wrong with me. Why does it seem like everybody else is getting ahead, but I can't seem to get ahead? I take one step forward, 2 steps back. You probably know what I'm talking about, right? But then at the same time, we got this inner conflict that says, look, I'm smarter than those guys. How come they seem to have it all together and I can't figure this out? All right, so that's where the Door Life TV came into play. All right, that's what this is all about, right? I've been trying to figure this out for a long time, trying to figure out how to connect, how to teach the things that I've learned that have helped me over time. And I'm going to share exactly what this means. And you're going to have a chance to start making some decisions. In 2007, I woke up in the middle of the night. I had this really crazy vision that I was going to be helping people with their financial literacy, teaching financial literacy, training people on things I'd learned throughout my banking career and all the years that I'd counseled people, right? Fast forward to 2008, 2009, I was a mortgage broker. And in 2008 and 9, the entire real estate market blew up and the mortgage industry crashed our economy in a really bad way because of the bubble and the Great Recession, all those funny things that I'm not going to get into today. That completely wiped my family out. We weren't ready for that. I don't think anybody really was ready for it. But we go forward a few years. I dealt with a lot of anger, a lot of emotions, things like that. And then in 2017, I made a choice to shut down my business, close everything out. I cashed everything in, moved my family across the country to go into full-time ministry. That didn't exactly work out the way I expected it to. And a little over a year later, we were licking our wounds. We were coming back and we were starting over from scratch, trying to rebuild our business and trying to get back up to up. So that second one was kind of a choice of my own. But the second time I rebuilt a lot faster based on things I learned after the crash of 2008 and 9. And so we built back faster and stronger. Door Life is my answer to the problem that a lot of us 50-year-old men are facing, right? We've got these ideas that we want to take care of our family. We want to provide for, the kids are going to move out. We're going to retire. We want to travel with our wives. We want to enjoy the outdoors, go hunting, fishing, hiking, golfing, whatever it is you like to do, right? Spend time in the garage, tinkering, working in the wood shop, building furniture, whatever it is, taking up a hobby, right? We've got these ideas, but yet in the back of our mind, we have this looming fear that we're not going to have enough money saved to be ready to be able to retire. And that is a very real fear that so many of us face. I'm 52 and I deal with it, right? And I'm thinking about this almost every day. Guys, that's what Door Life is about. Ultimately, it's about helping you set up a retirement so that you can enjoy your life. And I'm going to show you how to do that one door at a time, okay? All right, so I'm going to talk to you about this idea of one door at a time. This is a challenge, okay? So I've been working with this client for, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years now. And when I met him, he had a small portfolio of apartments, like somewhere around 30 units, the 30 doors that he managed. And since that time, we just recently closed on door number 71. And we're still going, we're going strong. And it seems like with every one that we close, he's getting excited and he wants to go get the next one, go get the next one, go get the next one. And so, you know, we've taken this from a net worth of less than $1 million to just under $2 million net worth just in the equity in those properties. The cash flow pays for his life and he continues to build more and more and more. Okay, so the question is, how do we do this? We did it one deal at a time, one door at a time. Okay, and it's not this, it's not sexy, it's not exciting, it's just a little bit at a time. And in Spanish, it's un poco a poco, okay? So too many of my clients actually come to me and they bail, they throw in the towel because, you know, they want it to happen overnight. And that's not how this works. It's, you know, owning real estate, investing in real estate, building cash flow takes time. It's a compounding effect over time. And so I want you to think about it like this, okay? The one door at a time is kind of like going to the backyard and stoking the smoker all day long to smoke that brisket. All right, so we're doing this barbecue brisket and it's gonna be an all day long process, right? It's like 6, 8, 10 hours, depending on the size of the brisket or how much meat you have in the smoker. It's a slow process and you can't rush it. All right, real estate is the same thing, and building your portfolio, it takes one door at a time. And when you start out, it's not real sexy. That one door might only bring you $100 or $200, but over the course of 10 years, that same one door, it's going to be 10x. I mean, it's the craziest thing in how this happens. And so this one door at a time idea, the door life is all about funding your life one door at a time, all right? It's rather than slaving and building somebody else's dream, you now have an opportunity to build your own dream, okay? So it's like, don't you want to take back your life? Take back that dream that you had in high school and build this thing one door at a time. And I want to show you how to do this without having to be a landlord. A lot of people don't want to be a landlord and that scares them. And so you don't have to be, all right? There's ways around it. All right, so the door life is all about slowing down so you can actually speed up. When I was a young carpenter, my mentor, his name was Michael Jordan, white guy, funniest thing. Anyways, different story for a different time. All right, so he comes to me one day and he says, "Hey Josh, what is the difference between a good carpenter and a bad carpenter?" I kind of scratched my head for a second, said, "Well, I don't know, Mike. What's the difference between a good carpenter and a bad carpenter?" He goes, "Josh, a good carpenter always goes back and fixes his mistakes. And as he's walking away with a smile on his face, he looks down at something I had just built, points at it, and he goes, 'You gonna fix that?'" So I've thought about that. I was 19 years old when I was working on this and building, framing houses. And, you know, for the last 20 to 30 years, I want you to think about this, all right? You've probably been working at a job, some job, or, you know, more than one job, as many of us have. You know, you're trying to save up a little bit at a time when you can, and then the water heater goes out in the house, or you need new tires for the car, or, you know, the car breaks down or something. Kids need braces. I mean, life happens and it has a way of throwing a curveball into our savings plans. And so if you haven't set up and been saving since you were 20 years old, you probably find yourself a lot like I did when at 50 years old, wondering, how the heck am I going to get ready for retirement? I don't have 30 or 40 years to compound interest over time. If that hasn't been working, just like Michael Jordan told me years ago, a good carpenter goes back and fixes his mistakes. It's not too late to correct the problem. In our retirement, they told us that we're supposed to save. But the older we get, we don't have the compound effect of time to make that difference. So we don't think we're going to have enough money to be able to save to have 1.5 million or $1 million to last 20 or 30 years in our retirement. So I don't know about you, but that left me with a pit in my stomach, feeling fearful that I won't be able to provide for my family. I won't be able to enjoy the things I want to enjoy in retirement. I'm going to have to work until the day I drop. Freedom is one door away. This is how this works, all right? During the 2008 recession, I was a mortgage broker. I was saving. I started saving when I was like 22, 23 years old, but the recession wiped me out. I mean, just completely wiped everything out. And by that time, I was almost 40 years old, and it started to scare me, started making me nervous. Well, to make things worse, then I went and I cashed everything in and went into the full-time ministry, and I came out just before I turned 50. You know, when you look at things like that and you go, how the heck are you going to get ahead? How the heck are you going to be able to do this? I started to realize that I didn't need $1.5 million or $2.5 million saved in a stock account or a brokerage account or a savings account or anything like that. What I needed to do is figure out, how do I replace $8,000 a month in income? Guys, it is a lot easier to replace $8,000 a month in income than it is to save $1.5 million. It's a whole heck of a lot easier. And that's what one door at a time is all about. That's what the door life is all about. Funding your life one door at a time. And it's completely possible, okay? Initially, small amounts, but over time, it starts to compound. You start adding properties and you've got this multiplying effect that starts growing over time. And it is one of the most amazing phenomena that you could ever imagine and completely possible to achieve. So I'm going to tell you how to get started. Okay, so check this out. You're probably asking that question, right? How do I get started? How do I do this? You know, that's kind of where I was. It wasn't sexy. I didn't have any money. My credit was shot. It was really clumsy for me building and starting and going. And I'm in the middle of building my portfolio now, and we're on track and we're kind of getting where we want to be. And that's what I want to show you. Okay, so before you get started, you're going to have to, the very first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to start dealing with what's going on up here, okay? Because you've probably, even as you're listening to this, you're already making excuses and fears are starting to creep in. Well, what if something bad happens? What if somebody moves out and doesn't pay the rent? What if, guys, there's an answer for all those things, but they will stop you from even getting started if you hold on to them. So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to eliminate and identify what those fears are and deal with them, okay? Let's remove the excuse of I don't have any money, all right? Go to YouTube and subscribe for my channel. I'm going to provide the link here in this blog, in the video somewhere. There's going to be a link to be able to subscribe to Door Life TV on YouTube, okay? Completely free. I'm going to give you tips and all kinds of things, and I'll share horror stories, I'll share successes. All those things are going to be right here to show you and step you through and walk you through this, okay? So there's no cost to learning, so get rid of that excuse. It doesn't cost you a thing, all right? Most of the videos are going to be relatively short, a handful of minutes, all right? Second thing you got to do is you got to go out, take action, and find your first door, whatever that looks like, okay? So we'll work through that process. Third thing is you're going to have to make a decision. Do you want to manage your portfolio yourself, or do you want somebody else to manage it for you? right? If you're still working and you want to start building the income streams, then you can compound your money a lot faster than if you need to live on the money coming off of that. Does that make sense? If you can make an extra $1,000 a month on a couple of doors while you're still working, that $1,000 a month can be saved to go towards your next property. But if you need to live on that money, it's going to be slower. It's going to be harder to work on. Okay. So if you're still working, or if you don't want to be working, then it's really important to start looking at how to hire the proper partner to help you manage those doors for you and help you manage that portfolio. Okay. So fourth thing you got to do is just rinse and repeat. It's as easy as that. All right. So we're just looking for one door at a time. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go back through all this stuff in just a second, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. Recapping one door at a time. Recapping what is Door Life TV. All right. I want you to think about this. Okay. If you're 50 years old and you can find a way to add one property per year over the next 10 to 12 years, your portfolio is going to grow. It's going to grow in value. It's going to grow in income, and it's going to start preparing you for retirement. All right. Just imagine that for just a second. All right. We're not talking about going out and building a huge portfolio tomorrow. We're talking about one at a time. Okay. I like 4-unit apartment complexes. All right. Because each one of those deals represents 4 doors. You know, you can multiply your income a lot faster going that route, but it's kind of a compounding effect. All right. Let's say today, if I go out and I buy a 4-plex today, it might earn me somewhere between $300 to $600 after all the expenses are paid each month. Okay. That's not a lot of money. It's nothing to really get excited about. You're probably not feeling like, hey, that's going to really move the needle in my life. However, the thing that's going to make a difference is that 10 years from now, it might be $1,000 to $1,500 per month for that same 4-plex that you bought today that wasn't making you very much. All right. So if you can buy 8 to 10 of these over the next decade, what does that do for your retirement? You're looking at like $8,000 to $10,000 a month going into retirement. And that doesn't include any Social Security, any pension, or any dividends or anything that you draw from anything you've saved up to this point. So it can be pretty darn lucrative. Okay. One door at a time. So all you need to do right now is subscribe to the channel. All right. Make some comments, ask questions, things like that. Okay. You're going to continue learning more. The other thing, I'm looking for 15 to 20 clients. All right. 15 to 20 clients who want to spend the next 5 to 10 years working one-on-one with me at no cost to you. Okay. I'm not charging you to be your coach or anything like that. I'm just looking for loyal clients and loyal customers that want to build a portfolio. 15 to 20, that's max. Okay. I don't want I don't want to be working with a ton of people, but I want to help you fund your life one door at a time. All right. So if you want to apply for consideration for that, there's a link down below, and man, let's start working on this together. Let's start going through figuring out what it is. Let's see if you qualify, and otherwise just subscribe and watch and learn. And guys, I'll see you on the inside. We're going to do this together. This is the one door challenge. All right. One door at a time challenge. Let's just find you one door and get this thing moving for you.